Jesus said to us today, if your brother wrongs, not you. If your brother does something wrong, not against you yet, but if he does something wrong, something you consider wrong, something you see as wrong, go to him, talk about it. If no result is achieved, then get someone along to meet him. If there is no result yet, then talk to the church about it, that is the community. By saying that if your brother wrongs or does something wrong, Jesus is already establishing a fact that it is given, it is certain that your brother is going to do something wrong. If your priest does something wrong, whether you heard it or you say it by yourself, what do you do? So Jesus has established that there is that possibility, in fact, a certainty that your brother, your sister, your friend is going to do something wrong. So that somebody does something wrong is no longer a news. What the news is, what do you do? What is your response to that? How do you respond to it? Jesus said, the first step is to meet the person in private and talk about it. But meeting the person in private to talk about it, there is no guarantee that the person is going to listen to you. So if that fails, do not give up. Then bring someone else. If he doesn't listen to 2 of you or 3 of you, don't give up yet. Come to the church and report it. There is no guarantee that he's going to listen to the church either. But at the end, you have done what you were expected to do. This is Jesus' approach, being recommended for all of us. But the two questions are, number one, what are the usual human responses to someone who does something wrong? And what must I do to someone who has done something wrong? The usual response is that when someone does something wrong, or you hear that somebody does something wrong, the usual thing is to make it a story among ourselves, to talk about it, to make it a breaking news, to gossip about it, to tell the other neighbor, do you hear that Daniel did this? That is the usual thing, because we like to tell the story, we like to gossip about it, we like to talk about it. That is the usual response. But Jesus said, no, don't talk about it. Go to the person. The other response, human response, will be to keep it in yourself and build bitterness, anger, hostility, and make a conclusion about that person without listening to him. Well, Nathaniel has done something wrong. You conclude immediately in your heart, he's not a good guy. I know, I suspected. So you conclude immediately and build hostility, anger, and animosity in your heart. That is the second usual human response. The third one would be to build an alliance with your friends, to make people see the story for your own end also. I have done something wrong. Then you went to James to say, Nathaniel is not just a good guy. James will be telling you, I don't think so. He seems to me like a good guy. Your effort will be to convince James to see Nathaniel from your own eyes, the way you are seeing him, that he's not a good guy. And therefore, James will say, okay, I think so. So he did this to you. He's not a good guy. It concludes immediately because of what James has said to him. I've always said to my friends, if you have something to do with your friend, another friend, don't make me a participant. I can come in to settle, but don't buy me over. An enemy of my friend is not my enemy. If you have got something with him, there is your beef with him. Settle it. Don't make me see him or her from your own point of view or from your own experience. But that is usually what we do. We try to make our friends to support us, to buy our sympathy, to actually see and conclude with us that this guy is not good because of what he did wrong. Jesus said, do not build an alliance. Do not do bitterness. Do not keep it in your heart. Do not make it a story. Go to the person. And the question is, but why must I go to the person? You know, there are people who act with purest of intentions. They have good intention for what they do, but they don't know the effect of their actions on the people around. Their intent is not to make people, to annoy people, or to do something wrong. But the effect of their action is perceived in another way or interpreted in another way. Just take for example, every Sunday, perhaps, I come here doing comedy and I dance and dance and dance and dance for you. For me, this is good. But I don't know that you guys are saying it from another angle. That instead of making you happy, I'm actually annoying you. And I don't know. If you don't tell me, I don't know. You can conclude that this guy annoys us every Sunday instead of making the Sunday worship entertaining or good. But in my head, my dancing here every Sunday is a way of making you feel okay. But I never knew it is an annoying thing to you. And that is why Jesus said, if somebody does something wrong, go to him, because he may not even know that his action is wrong. Another reason why I need to go to the person that Jesus teaches us is because I have come to understand there are stories behind actions. Some stories are not known. Some stories are not said. Some stories are not even seen. I may be acting the way I'm acting. You don't know what is behind my actions. It doesn't justify my bad deeds it doesn't justify my actions. It doesn't make it right, or it doesn't even excuse me. But when you come around to ask me, Nathaniel, why are you behaving this way? I might tell you my story. You may actually understand that what I am doing is an offshoot of my childhood experience. Maybe I suffered trauma, you didn't know, and often I get aggressive. So you think that this guy is not good, but you don't know there is a story behind his actions. You will not know unless you go to him. And that's why Jesus said, at the first step, go to him one-on-one. Don't make it a story yet. You don't know what is behind his actions or her actions. And finally, when people act the way they act, it is not enough when someone does something wrong. It's not enough to summarize the person's entire life by that action. We generalize. Because I have messed up as your parish priest, therefore my entire 40-something years of life is therefore summarized. Nathaniel is, because he did this, he is just stupid. My entire 45 years is summarized by my one wrong action. That is the fallacy of overgeneralization. Jesus said, no, go to the person. And the essence of going to the person who did wrong is not actually to be judgmental or to make him to see that he is wrong. Just to listen and possibly to win your brother or your sister or your friend or your priest or your mom or your husband over. So dear friends, Jesus tells us today, there is every certainty that someone is going to do something wrong. How do you handle it when it comes? It could be your husband. It could be your wife. It could be your colleague. It could be a member of this community. How do you handle a situation where you heard that somebody did something wrong? You didn't see it. You heard it that somebody did something wrong. Do you continue with the story unverified? Do you go to the person to ask questions? Or do you make a conclusion in your heart? And the person becomes an enemy because of what you heard or because of what you see. I think it was BBC. I was listening to their news. There is this particular news they call the verified. One of the reasons why Jesus would like us to go back to the person who did wrong, above reconciliation, is also to verify. Things are not usually the way they are reported, or the way they are interpreted, or the way they are seen. There could be stories, untold stories behind certain actions.